First of all, again, for new joinees and everyone, thank you very much again for taking out time. My name is Aabimaanyo Arora. I'm head investments and partnerships at hBits. Uh, Today's webinar is a bit special, and I'll just take you through the agenda behind it. We'll be covering a part of on through global markets discussion with our co-founder and CFO, Mr. Samir Bhandari. Then will be a little bit discussion on our current opportunity, which will be again for only 10 minutes. Earlier discussion with Samir will be approximately 7 to 8 minutes. And then we'll run on the Q&A round. We plan to keep this webinar as short as possible, taking out time that you've taken out time for us. We'll try to keep this for like 30, 35 minutes. Hope to see you till the end. Just to start off quickly, just to let you know what fractional ownership is all about in a very nutshell. And then I'll, of course, invite Mr. Samir Bhandari to take on the call. Well, fractional ownership in a nutshell is what we deal. And this is basically for our new joinees and new people who are participating in this webinar. We only deal into pre-lease commercial properties where the property is already ready, OC is received, and tenant has already come in. And we only deal into commercial properties. And by parking a fraction of a money, you become a co-owner of a big property. So that's all about where we come into. I'd like to call in Mr. Samir Bhandari, who is our co-founder and CFO. He started career as, he's actually IIM Ahmedabad 89 and chartered accounting batch 87. Overall, 35 years experience, of which 33 years was in banking. He started with Bank of America, then UBS. He was 9 years with JP Morgan, where he was managing director. Then he was the managing director of Nomura Securities, and he was co-running sales and globally across fixed income and equities. And he's worked in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Mumbai. Why again this thing? A very good point to hear. As again, just as saying, he worked across for fixed income. Well, fixed income is the topic of commercial real estate today, which we're talking about fractional ownership. Samir, good afternoon. Thank you for taking out time with us. And a lot of customers were actually asking, when are we going to have next information coming in from Samir? Because so far, what we understand, these are really the remarks which have come across that they have actually turned out to be right.
Thank you, Aabimaanyo. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words and a very, very warm welcome today. As Aabimaanyo said, thank you for taking out the time. I know it's a Saturday and time is precious, so I won't take too much time. So today what I wanted to do is just talk a bit around global markets. And when I'll talk about global markets, I'll talk about the US, which I think is extremely important and which pretty much drives the agenda for other countries. And I'll talk a bit about India and what my expectations are around equity markets. If I first start with the US, I do expect another interest rate cut in December. So this year, we've already cut 75 basis points. I expect another cut of 25 basis points, so 100 basis points cut this year. Looking at another 125 basis points cut next year in 2025, which basically means the rate before the cuts, which were at around 5.25%, we'll probably see them go all the way down to 3.5% or so. With that, the RBI will also cut as inflation comes off, but RBI's cuts will not be as much as what's been in the US. So I do expect RBI to probably cut 100 basis points over the next 12 to 18 months. In terms of the US equity markets, with Trump coming in, Trump obviously gets very excited about the US markets doing well, the stock markets doing well. So he's looking at a lot of tax cuts, which have actually propelled the US markets when he first came in on 6th of November. I do expect the US equity markets to continue to rally, what they call the Santa Claus rally in November and December. So I would not be surprised if US markets rally another 5% from here. So I expect the S&P to be around 6,200. by December. Next year, I see a lot more volatility as the swearing-in ceremony happens, Jan 20th, as the policies start getting determined by Trump. I think the policies are going to be very inflationary. And what you'll see, though the initial interest cuts will actually happen, the long end of the US curve will continue to go up. So presently, it's around 4.4% of the 10-year US Treasuries. I expect this to go as high as between 4.75 and 5, which basically means the curve will actually steepen with the short-term rates actually coming down. So with this happening in the US, a lot of money, especially the emerging market money or the FII money, is going back into the US. And that's what we've seen, why India has actually suffered and why the FII flow has gone. Basically, people have been selling emerging markets equities and going into the US. And I see that trend actually continuing. Despite GDP growth in India expected to be close to 6.3%, though it's a bit of a slowdown, and inflation also coming off over time, I don't see the equity markets in India going up at all. In fact, my expectation is that by March of next year, we could see a 5 to 8% correction in the Sensex from today onwards. And the equity markets which will get hit, the sectors which I think will get hit is the small and medium cap. That will get hit the most. The large caps will also get hit, but will not get hit as much. What we've also seen in India is the IPOs, there's been a lot of supply which is coming into the market. And the IPOs which show initial gains actually don't do as well post-listing. Also, the insiders actually in India have been selling their own shares. So given all this, what I expect, I would say a 5 to 8% correction in equities. So my suggestion to you is keep your equity position light. Make sure that you have enough cash. So as the market corrects, you can actually start getting in. But right now, honestly, there is absolutely no rush to buy Indian equities at all. What I do see as happening is the alternates become a lot more attractive. Whether it's real estate, whether it's fractional real estate, what we are looking at, whether it's alternatives in credit, those are becoming more and more attractive. And that's what I would urge the investors to actually look at. So in a nutshell, do expect US equities to do well initially, go up by 3 to 5%. Indian equities actually to come down by 5 to 8%. Expect money to start flowing into alternates a lot more, whether it's real estate, whether it's infrastructure. And I think these are actually opportunities for investors to actually diversify. A lot of the people and a lot of the money has gone into equities, and people were suddenly expecting 20% returns year on year every time you get in. But that's not going to happen. And in fact, I think 25 for Indian equities is going to be extremely, extremely tough. So do brace yourselves and keep cash in the sidelines so that you can actually come in and buy when the market's correct. Next slide, please. Just looking at the real estate market, the Indian real estate market is projected to grow at a compound annual growth of 9.2% from 23 to 28. Obviously, with overall growth, with return to office, more and more people have demand for commercial real estate. The rental market continues to be extremely, extremely strong. The vacancy rates actually continue to come down. So given the real estate forecast which we have for the next 5 years, we think this is a very, very opportune time to invest in the markets. Also, with US interest rates expected to come down, we also expect RBI to cut rates, as I mentioned, at least by 100 basis points. So this all goes into the story of commercial real estate becoming very, very attractive, since commercial real estate actually sells on cap rates. And as interest rates come down, the cap rates are also expected to come down. So as an alternative asset class, I do expect fractional real estate to give returns of anything between 15 and 20% over the next 5 years. And I'm very bullish going into commercial real estate at this point in time, given the outlook of equities and given the outlook of interest rates. Let me stop there and let me pass it on to Abhimanyu to talk about a specific opportunity, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir. Well, yes, that's quite information, because when we talk about our commercial real estate matrix, and then we talked about how RBI look into the Fed rate cuts, and they then cut the rates in India, and which automatically flows by lowering down the vacancy percentage, automatically shows that the commercial real estate market would be in a quite a demand, and a lot of supply would be absorbed. Right. So I will just quickly run through the next coming opportunity. Before I start this, I would just want to give you two updates. Our $1 trillion opportunity is finished. It's over. So there are a lot of calls still coming in that they want to park money. That has got over. Okay. Second is our London listed opportunity. We just probably finishing it up in this coming week. If anyone wants to just park money in that, we're open to ticket size of any ticket sizes. And we just looking forward to just finish this asset by coming Wednesday. So I'll just take on the fresh opportunity, which we launched last week, and we approximately 25% sold out. Or I guess we need to update the system today evening that it is around 35% sold out. Coming to this opportunity, it's based out of Thane, Mumbai. It's a French listed tech MNC constructed by Usher Group, and the park is called Usher IT Park. Well, the basic phenomena is that gives you an ROI of 8.75% entry yield. Average is around 8.71% entry yield. 15.16% is the expected IRR. It's basically a 60 months agreement, a very beautiful thing just to think about, because the agreement is actually going to start from 1st of December 2024 for 5 years, and the lock-in period over there is 3 years. And just to let you know, a very good thing, to cherry on the top, that the tenant has been in the property in the last 10 years, and they have renewed the contract. Well, this is the overview location. Why we put this particular slide for people who are not based out of Mumbai. Well, Thane as a location in which there is a commercial real estate block, which is Wagle Estate. When in BKC, the supply got over, a lot of pockets actually got emerged in Wagle Estate or Navi Mumbai or some other location. So this has turned out to be a very important location for people who have kind of, and I should say the MNCs who have come and absorbed good supply over there. This is a very important slide which we always cover, and it was part of information when Samir mentioned. Currently, the vacancy percentage, if I would have talked last year, the vacancy percentage was around close to 14%. It's dropped down to 10.4% for Thane. And if I look at purely on the Wagle estate, it's basically in single digits. And if I talk about the vacancy percentage of our building, which we're talking about, is 0%. That means the property is overall 100% occupied. Automatically showcases how much the demand is there. Well, this is our tenant. Tenant is our Paris District Stock Exchange. They're basing over a $10 billion euros, and they've been into automotive, banking, financial services, healthcare, energy, and utility. They're basically 2023 Fortune 100 best companies to work for, which again shows that if they are good for employees, of course, they look for customers. This is the asset description. It's 2 basement, ground, and 11 office floors. We have picked up the place on 10th floor of this particular building. Just to let you know, a very good thing for us, and generally the asset efficiency percentage or any efficiency percentage in Mumbai or any other location generally is approximately between 60 to 75%. Luckily, on the 10th floor, which we have picked up, the asset efficiency is 80%, the way how the design is done. These are the asset photos. This is the floor plan. The one which you see on the right side, orange, is basically the place where we have picked up our location. Again, some information about the builder. These are the kind of constructions done by the builder, approximately 7.5 million square feet. Overall, as a Usher Group, they have currently done approximately 12.5 million square feet. They're all A-grade buildings. Thane as a location, as I earlier mentioned, is like how it's getting really much in demand at this moment, mentioned. Of course, Wagle Estate is one of the prime location for commercial outfits. It is basically 1.3 kilometers away from Wagle Circle metro station. Hirandani Estate 8.9 kilometers, Thane around 3.9, Viviana Mall is 2.7, which automatically shows that for their employees and connectivity, it is around. These are the people who are the tenants in the Wagle Estate: Cipla, Raymond, TCS, Kotak, CPA, DHL, and many more to talk about. Well, a very important slide. If you look at the current prices of this particular location, how the transaction happened, I'm talking about in and around that particular location by approximately half a kilometer or something. And this data is taken out from a source of CRE matrix. If you see the trend of starting with 18 May 21, then there was a 24,000, then we came to 18,150. And if you look at the Feb 22 Usher IT Park, the transaction was done at 23,256. To be honest, Usher Group happened to show us this property at a pricing around 19,000. The valuation of the property is around 18,300 square feet. And you'll be surprised to know that we have got this opportunity for you at a pricing of 15,700 rupees a square feet, which is a very, very attractive price to enter. And this kind of price is never seen in more than a decade. Again, the rentals in the neighborhood is 110, 108, 150. It is 36 months. We are on the 10th floor. Term is 60 months. We have as well collected security deposit from the tenant, and the tenure starts from 1st of December 2024 till 30th November 2029. And according to me, I feel that the tenant will be in this building for 10, or I should say another 2 decades. Overall, and oh, sorry, my bad. It's not 15,500. It's price what we have got for you is 15,272. The total price of this acquisition is 54 crores, 65 lakh 97,000. So how you can look at is basically if you are parking in 1 crore, in that 1 crore, you have already parked. So that 1 crore includes stamp duty, registration, legal fees, admin charges, advance property tax, scam charges, legal fees, transfer fees, reserve fund, all the funds. And you don't have to pay a single rupee more. And we'll give you ROI on the full 1 crore rupees. These are the cash flow statements. If you look at the gross rent for the first 2 years is constant, and the third year it jumps by 15.1%, and third, fourth, and fifth year it is 15.1%, which is constant over there. Practically, if I look at on a gross scenario, year 3 is the one where it actually touches close to 9% as well. And that's why the 5-year average is turning out to be 8.71. If you as we look at the price of 54.65, it turns out to 75.23. In nutshell, if it is you're parking around 5 crore 46 lakhs, it's actually turning out to be 7.52 crores. A very beautiful and important slide. We are assuming a 6.5% annual property appreciation, whereas in the particular location where the vacancy percentage is so low, and specifically for the building it is 0%, we see that the price would be actually in terms of from 8 or 9%. However, to be on a conservative side, we have just put in 6.5%. That clearly shows that if the property is going 6.5%, 100 rupees parked in today will become 181 rupees in the 5th year. Of course, it includes rentals. Well, that is on the conservative side. And if I put my aggressive thoughts to it, it can go as high as 225. So that's the playground which we are going to play. There are 2 kinds of fees which we charge. 1% management fees. So give an example, if you're parking 1 crore, we charge you 1 lakh rupees. And that 1 lakh is not being taken from you advance. It is basically a pro rata charge divided by 12 months deducted from your rent receivables. And actually, if you see, we don't charge you that in the first year as well. 15% over 10% higher performance, well, that is at the time of the exit only. Now, those days have gone when we have to. So this is our skin in the game as well. It's not that we just give you kind of a service and we charge you. We have to perform to deliver this kind of things as well. Investment analysis thesis is basically when we talk about looking at approximately 100 properties, we actually select only one property. There's a lot of due diligence done, a lot of micro and macro analysis done, a lot of data analysis done with the source of different methods. And then we finally look at this particular property. And our legal check is done from our lawyers, which is Shardil Merchant Mangaldas and DSK Legal. They're among the top 5 law firms in the country since property is in concern. Well, we are now a 500 crore AUM company, 200 years of cumulative experience. I guess we need to change it to 300 years with a lot of experience come into picture. We are one of the people who actually, with this particular point, a lot of investors invest with us because we have a performance track record to show. We have successfully exited a property at 17.54, whereas the targeted IRR of that property that time was 15.54. Pipeline of around 20,000 plus crores, 100K, I guess it's around 110K registered users. Investment process, a very beautiful thing to talk about, and how we could say today, if you are in any part of the globe, there are only 2 things which you require to invest with us: a laptop or a desktop, and just an internet connection. And just you need to log in, go to our platform, which is hbits.co. We are a prop tech company. You log in with the help of your mobile, you receive OTP login, do your KYC, which is being equipped with DigiLock. Instantly, you can sign a TOI, which is called an expression of interest, which is basically showcases that what is the expression you want to express interest for what amount of value. While during that, you have to just pay 5% of the total money. Give an example, if you want to park in 30 lakhs, so you have to just transfer 1.5 lakhs, and you wait for the property to be 100% funded. Today, for this property, we are approximately 30% sold out. And we expect that it should be done in maximum of approximately 30 days from now, or probably 25 days from now. Digitally sign the ownership agreement. Well, when the 100% funded is done, we send across an email to you and to all other investors to kindly transfer the balance amount of money to an escrow account of the SPV, which we create for you for this particular asset. And parallel to that, you have to sign a legal document which will show your name with the percentage ownership for the value which you have invested. And just to let you know, there is no lock-in period for you. You can choose to exit at any given point of time. Parallel to that signing, and when we receive the money, we register the property on the SPV. And the date the property is registered, the very next day your rental income starts. And you, as well, at the end of the exit, receive property appreciation. As I mentioned, this is how the structure works. You are the owner, co-owner of the SPV. SPV owns the asset, so which directly shows that you are a co-owner of that property as well. A lot of people happen to come back to us and say, is it the same, say, that that you don't know where the share of properties? Well, if you're buying a parking, let's say the total ticket size of the property is around 55 crores and you're parking, let's say 55 lakhs, you can very well pass through Wagle Estate, Usher IT Park, and say that I'm a 1% owner of this particular property on the 10th floor. This is how your dashboard looks like. Once you're invested with us, you'll be able to see your documents, whatever you have signed, TDS certificates, NRIs can invest, HUF can invest, private limited companies, NGOs, trust, partnership companies, proprietorship, all of them can invest. All NRIs can invest. These are the properties which we have done so far, approximately 12, where actually it's about 14 properties we have done so far. We have talked about this as a targeted IRR to be 17.54%, which we have already achieved in one of our assets. Shiv Parekh, who's our founder and CEO. He's a Harvard graduate, Stanford alumni, and ex-Citi banker. He's Forbes 3rd Asia 30 under 30, 2022. Business World Disrupt 30 under 30, 22. Of course, I have given a good discussion about Mr. Samir Bhandari today. Of course, he was on the floor. So that was a detailed thing which I discussed about. Well, when we choose to get a right property for you, we need to have a right partners as well, because this is the kind of product we manufacture for you. Banking is done by ICICI Bank. The taxation and structured partners, Deloitte and PwC. Leasing is JLL and Holiest of the World. Valuation of the properties done by JLL. Legal, if you see, we have Vardia Gandhi, DSK Legal, Shardul Merchant Mangaldas. Whatever data we have put in this particular slide, the data partner is CRE Matrix. Technology, AWS Zoho, trusteeship universal. Well, just to put across a little information about it, the concept may be 5 years old or 6 years old in the country, but we are a 35-year-old entity. Our parent company is Raycon India Group. We as well have a sister concern company into co-working, which is Workloft. Overall, 35 years entity. Well, we have always been in the news for all the good things, and so far has been the good things. So if you look at the top right side, that fluorescent color, blue, that was the interview which happened between Shiv and CNBC when there was an exit of the property of 17.54. This video is very much available on our website and as well on the YouTube channel. Again, proud moment to say that we are partnered with moneycontrol.com, and that's how we are. A lot of people have kept asking me in the message. We are going to be getting the SM REIT license any moment, probably another 10 to 20 days more. That's about it from us. We open it for questions and more than glad that people participate. It's 4:27. I will try to cover it another 3, 4, 5 minutes more.
I guess some questions have come. So Karthik has mentioned, is this for overall market or just commercial space? And can we also get access to the deck? Karthik, definitely we will send you the deck. So that's not a problem at all. When I spoke about real estate, I'm mainly talking about commercial because residential actually has gone up a lot. And there is no science to why resi has gone up, right? What typically happens with residential, it stays stable or doesn't move at all for 7, 8, 10 years, and then it suddenly moves. So what I was talking about is mainly commercial space.
Also, we can access the desk. Yes, it is available on our website. You can very well go and download it. Do existing, Ronak Rawal has asked, do existing investors need to take any action to be part of SME REIT? Well, when we will be, so just to let you know, any asset which is listed on our platform now or before will be all migrated on SM REITs. And when we are doing this, of course, property is yours, so we have to take a consent from you. Mr. Aman Bansal has asked, can we visit the building for verification valuation? For verification, you can very well go outside the property, have a look into it. Unfortunately, can't look into inside the property because it is already taken up by a French listed company wherein the security isn't tight. But yes, for the valuation of the property, we are more than welcome to share with you the valuation of property, which is done by JLL. Can you brief us potential risk with the investment, if any? Well, we have tried to mitigate the risks of this particular property and to a level of 98%. And a lot of people have to ask me two questions. One is basically what if the tenant leaves? That is one. And second is basically on the legal check. So talking about point number one, which I'll put it very crisp. So we pick up a tenant, okay, which have been in this building from quite a long time. Number two, we do a due diligence on the tenant and we only pick up tenants which are grade A tenants. The furnitures and fixtures are done by the tenant. And if the tenant has to leave, they have to as well give us 6 months notice. Along with that, we have as well collected a security deposit from the tenant. We as well go a deep dive into analysis that the tenant is not paying a much more higher rental as compared to the market. It should be paying a lower amount. And that is how we as well come and negotiate the price with the seller. That if the renters are lower, so we happen to actually lower the price as well, which is actually a win-win situation for you. So now next question, and yes, I missed out on the legality point. We don't accept a component which is in cash. We don't allow lien on the property, and we give you independent papers in the format of CCDs and shares, which are on the PVT limited. And hence, your papers are so independent in nature that you can exit at any given point of time. Hence, it took for the legal check part, it's 100% curbed, mitigated, risk is avoided. In only terms to 98%, if tenant leaves, just in case in that particular scenario, as well as just to remember that vacancy percentage of the building is 0%, in no time, we will be able to get a new tenant for you. But just in case it happens, 1, 2, or 3 months, which is likely not to happen, because this property is 5-year lease and 3-year lock-in, then that time, of course, the property is yours. You will continue to have enjoy the capital appreciation of the property. But information or probably rental proceeds will come, but at the same time, skin in the game, we will as well not receive management fees. So it will be our responsibility to get the new tenant in no time. If not able to sell property after 5-6 years, may be forced or abrupt side sale, which may give less returns. Is it so? No. Today, please remember, sir, that why this due diligence of the property is very important for by our acquisition. Because if we are buying a property today, we are as well taking into consideration that we after 5 years we have to sell it as well. People talk about ROIs when we log in and invest 5%, 7%, 8%, 9%. To be honest, we can get it anywhere. But a very important point which a lot of people miss out is basically the entry price point. So that is a very important parameter for us, because a good entry price point not only enjoys the parameter of wealth creation, but it as well determines a smooth exit in the future. So that is not going to be the scenario with us at all. And that is why, if you look at the performance stock record, we have delivered a successful exit.
And also, just to add, Abhimanyu,
Hanji.
We are not forced to sell after 5 or 6 years,
Exactly.
because there is no real time limit as such. So there's no abrupt sale as such. So if we don't want to sell for whatever reason, we will not sell the property. So there's no real risk as such. Yeah.
So ultimately, property is yours. We go out in the market, find a particular proposal, share it with all the shareholders. And if there is a 75% voting right as a yes, then only we go ahead and do the particular transaction. It was just to put across that all the people who have pooled money are all investors, number one. And number two, they come here for a simple agenda, which is invest and earn. Mr. Ashwin Ba, how is the IRR calculated and what all does it comprise? And so there are only two things which are part of the IRR, which is rent and property appreciation. Mr. Ram Gosavi, what is security? What is security and assurance? What are the legal documents and are they registered? Well, very much security. All your rentals are backed by a fixed rental agreement. That is number one. The assurance, or which you talk about, are with all the logical points, data, and which you presented in this particular platform. Because ultimately, sir, you are going to be the owner of the property. The property is registered with you. Once you become a investor with us, the dashboard which will be active, you'll be able to not only view the sale agreement, rental agreement, your document, what you signed, all stamped, but you can as well download as well. So that's the kind of transparency level which we talk about. As well as when we get you signed the passport document, it will come with a particular ROI. It will show that what kind of investment you have done. It will as well show your nominee. So these are very practically a very important legal document which we cover it. And again, to put across, we have legal partners like Shardul Ramesh and Mangada. What will be the property when will the property migrate through SM REITs? By Jayan Mashingal. Well, we are looking forward to migrate property in another 6 to 10 months. Mr. Jain, oh yes, so you signed up already yesterday with us. When is hBits expected to receive SM REIT license? If I say, well, I guess Samir if you could just mention.
Sure. We've already applied for the SM REIT license. It's been 1.5 months, and I think we should expect it anything within the month. I would say.
Mr. Anand Daga, do you provide any interest on booking amount before the rentals start? Well, at this moment, we only take 5% of the amount, which actually gets parked into an escrow account. So it is not used. Hence, unfortunately, sir, that is just for a booking amount. At the end of 5th year, the SPV of the property, at the end of 5th year, the SPV will the property or will compute the property value of payment to us. So how it happens is we will either sell the SPV or the property, whatever the money comes in into that particular SPV, that is equally distributed as per your percentage ownership in that particular SPV for this property. Just to let you know, the SPV, this is a fresh SPV created for this asset. So every asset has a fresh SPV. There is no other thing included in this. Mr. Ram Gosavi, do you back us the returns from any other property investment? Do you back up the returns from any other property investment, or it's standalone and runs on its own cycle?
Let me take this, Abhimanyu.
Yeah.
Basically, it's Ram. It's basically just one property, and you will get the returns from that property alone. So, for example, we just recently did a property in Pune where Microsoft was the tenant. So it's backed by the lease agreement with Microsoft only and runs on its own cycle.
Just as well, just to add, and a very beautiful thing which I remembered, any earnings from this property actually comes to you, like the security deposit which is collected from the tenant. We park it as a fixed deposit in the SP. Even that interest income earned from that particular thing is parked to you and is part of the rental yield. So any earning which comes to you only. So Mr. Mohammed Khan, can we have multiple tickets for single investor to park it into your Usher ID? Yes, you can. Just in case it happens, do we have voting rights to select who will rent the space? Well, it is already rented out. If just to let you know, we deal into pre-lease commercial property. So currently, if when it comes that the tenant has gone, and that time when we get a fresh tenant, of course, before we happen to ask them to use this asset, it is your consent is very much required. Can a non-Indian foreign person be an investor? Well, at this moment, when SM REITs comes into structure, over there, foreign nationals can very much invest. But if you are from Indian origin, you can very well invest in this particular property. Yash Jan, considering the asset size of the property, are there any challenges that we might face in disposing the property after 4? Not at all, sir. The sweet spot for any AIF, PMS, or ultra HNI clients or corporate funds, their sweet spot is anything between 35 crores to 150 crores. So this property is just 55 crores. Will this Thane property be listed on secondary market? Yes. Who was Karnik Commercial Office? So that is our SPV name, sir.
That's just the name of the SPV.
Yes, that is the name of the SC. I guess you are already reached out to our documentation. Happy to see that. What are the charges that hBits will charge the investor starting from property acquisition to exit? Well, there are only two charges, and we have only, if you see, we're very transparent in one single slide itself. We've just put on the charges. One is the management fees, and another is the performance fee only at the time of the exit. What is rental top-up? The rental top-up comes to you as a kind of a scenario where we, let's say in the first year, management fees, which we charge you, but we say that we don't charge you in the first year. First year, we negate that particular charge by giving you a rental top-up from our side. But if you look at the rental column, it is actually just the rent is growing up every year. Like in this case, third year is 15.1% jump. Suggestion, ticket size be reduced to 10 lakhs for retail participation. Please go ahead, sir. You can park 10 lakhs as well. And as the SM REIT structure comes into picture, we can surely park in 10 lakhs as it is allowed in the secondary market. Well, you can surely reach out to your investment manager. We'll surely look out and work on the same. Do you have any investment for small tickets up to 10 lakh? As I answered already, sir. What dates of the month do I receive the rental payments? On every 15th, generally between every 14th to 17th. Between 14 to 17. Why on second year the rental yield is less? If you see, sir, in the first year, the rental column only, the rentals are growing first year, second year, and third year it jumps. It's just the rental low. In the first year, we have given you rental top up. Second year, a little bit. So we don't, as I mentioned, we'll only start charging from the second year. And that is why it dips. Mr. Ashwin Gupta, whatever rent amount you have shown in presentation is fixed? Yes. Yes. Mr. Pranav, returns, I guess we'll just take this last question because it's 4:40. Returns are down from 9.1 to 8.85. I have been an active investor with hBits. Please explain. It is only because if you look at that particular scenario, sir, you are surely invested with us. The year two, when the rental top-up goes down or when we start charging, that's the only dip. But I request you, Mr. Pranav, if you look at the 5 years average, it will be surely workable to that particular scenario. More than glad and look at and have a discussion with you. And if you look at the financial modeling sheet or the cash flow statement, which you would have received before you even started, that would be great, sir. I guess we'll just put it, let's take the last question. How to transfer that money is?
How to trust that my money is DAF. What is DAF?
Don't know, but just to let you know, sir.
It's safe. Is it safe?
Safe. Yeah, okay. Maybe. So you can probably take the last question and then we take it forward.
Yeah, safe. So
Yeah.
Rajiv, your money is definitely safe for two reasons. One is we are regulated by SEBI under the SM REIT license. Secondly, when you give the 5% EOI money also, it goes into an escrow account which hBits cannot touch. Thirdly, once the money is transferred, the property is registered in the name of the SPV, and the SPV is actually owned by investors like you. So it's not owned by us; it's owned by investors like you, and the SPV is a bankruptcy remote SPV. So anything happens to hBits, nothing can happen to your money. We are just the asset managers. So the money is 500% safe. Yeah.
That is right. Well, thank you very much for everyone. Thank you, Samir, today for taking out time. And I guess you're looking handsome, great, in this particular outfit. What is this called actually? Throughout the thing, I want to ask what this outfit is actually.
It's a bandi.
Bandi. Okay, great. Thank you. I'll just probably ask you where you got it stitched. Thank you, everyone. And please log in again to just to let you know it's a 30 lakh ticket size. Please go ahead and invest. We are open and we are seeing a lot of EOIs getting signed as we speak. A lot of people join in, which were number more than 100 people. We have already done with the $1 trillion opportunity. Very few slots left for next 3 days for London listed. And thank you very much for your time and patience. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.